I think my favorite, and it's sort of a cheat, right? Because I feel like Encounter, it's about sort of the little nugget of an experience, the smallest. Like it, in theory, it's repeatable, but I don't really have very many encounters like that. There are very few that I've ever run multiple times. Certainly not in the same way or in the same whatever. Um, but I'll give two answers just to be like sporting about it. First, the small contained one, and I have to go to a one shot. So I really like the one shot. It's super popular and it makes sense. I've called it out in a video before. The Wild Sheep Chase. It's a fantastic one shot. It's freely available. Everybody should get it and run it. And um, I think for the most part, it's also a really good example of how to organize a one shot. I make some small modifications to it when I run it, and one of the things that I do is I start that one shot with the party basically purchasing unknown magic items from a merchant, like in the town square. And I do that because that first fight that you're probably going to run into is when I think the guards or the goons come after, because the goat's going to run up and speak to the party, ask for help. And if you're not familiar with the one shot, the is it a wild goat or wild sheep? Let's I think it's a it would have to be, it's a sheep, right? It's a wild sheep chase. But anyway, the sheep speaks to them. It's not, this is not the important part of the one shot. The sheep talks to them. The sheep's actually been transformed. It's a wizard and it's asking the party for help. And inevitably, there's a small fight breaks out because some goons show up. I think there's a bear involved, and they're there to get the sheep back, to retrieve them. And so the fun part about giving the party a bunch of unknown magic items is because, well, it's a one shot, so they know it's all kind of a little bit loopier than a normal session of D&D, or at least in my games usually. They know that, the stakes are low, and they also know that they have this magic bow and arrow, and they don't know what happens when they fire it. So now they get to fire it and find out what it does, because there's not enough time to really properly attune or figure out what any of these things do. So somebody's got this crazy, necklace, somebody's got a ring, and somebody's got whatever, and they're just gonna start using them, and that like heightens that combat. And I've used that idea in other one shots as well. That's like the easiest example to describe, but I think it's really fun to drop unknown magic into a situation when it feels either, I guess, safe or at least like important to try to use. So that was a fun one. That's the easy answer. The more complex answer is that probably, I don't know if it's like my favorite, but it's certainly one of my favorite. And it wasn't necessarily the encounter design, but everything that led to it. It was sort of a mid campaign finale where the party had come to realize that they'd been working unwittingly for a lich for some period of time. They'd been recruiting people into a guild that was run by a lich, and now they knew the truth. Not only that, they came to find out that the person they thought was an enemy to them was actually kind of really only an enemy of the lich, so by association. And this person they'd been feuding with for a while was actually played by another player, a secret player in the game. So there were a couple of fun revelations that happened at once. Uh, that character also had a connection to one of the players, yada yada. But the really cool part was that then the lich showed up. The lich appeared with the guild, and the party had to quickly try to draw every as many of the guild members over to their side to convince them as they could. And so it wasn't a big fight. It was actually a big sort of convincing persuasion situation where they knew all of them, and they knew kind of what what motivated them. And so they were each kind of given a chance to sort of make a case and sway them one way or the other. Like, you've got the people who recruited you saying that, hey, this guild leader is a lich, but also the lich, it's like, or the guild leader, it's like, I don't know, this may this is between you guys. I don't want to side. And they pulled over some members, and then the whole place flooded and they teleported out. So there really wasn't even any combat, but the whole thing was extremely tense, and it was sort of like everything for the whole campaign came to a point, and it was really satisfying. And then that sort of launched really like the second half of the campaign, which is what we've been doing. It also, they ended up in the Feywild, which is a whole other thing. But yeah, I think those are the two things that come to mind.